In a small village called Umudin, nestled deep in the heart of Igbo land, there lived a wealthy and respected family, the Okorochas. The head of the family, Chief Okorocha, was a wise and fair man who had spent his life upholding the traditions of his Igbo people. His wife, Madam Okorocha, was known for her strong belief in Igbo custom and following the rules strictly. Together they had one son. His name is Obi, who was their pride and joy. Obi had always been a kind and hardworking young man. He grew up learning to respect his family's tradition and was taught far from a young age that Igbo people must always marry within their tribe. His mother, Madam Okorocha, often reminded him, "Obi, our tradition says that you must marry an Igbo woman. It has always been that way for generations, and it must stay that way." Obi always nodded and respected his mother's wishes, but deep inside, he dreamed of finding true love, no matter where it came from. As fate would have it, one day, during his university years in Lagos, Obi met a beautiful and kind-hearted young Yoruba lady named Adebimpe. She was everything he ever dreamed of: smart, caring, and full of life. They became close friends, and before long, their friendship blossomed into love. Obi knew deep in his heart that his family would not be pleased. Their tradition of his village were clear. No Igbo man was allowed to marry a woman from another tribe, especially not from the Yoruba tribe. But Obi was certain that Adebimpe was the woman he wanted to spend his life with. She made him happy in ways he had never imagined, and he believed that love was stronger than tradition. For many months, Obi kept his relationship with Adebimpe a secret from his family. He feared his mother's reaction more than anything. Madam Okorocha was a strict woman about their tradition and would not easily accept a non-Igbo daughter-in-law. But love has a way of breaking barriers. Obi could not hide his feelings forever. He decided that it was time to tell his mother the truth, hoping that she would understand that love mattered more than tribal differences. One evening after dinner, Obi sat down with his mother and father. His heart raced as he prepared to speak. "Mother, father, there is something important I need to tell you both," he began nervously. "I have met someone that I love. Her name is Adebimpe." His mother's face lit up with curiosity, but her smile quickly faded away when Obi continued. "She's a Yoruba lady," he said softly. Madam Okorocha's expression changed immediately. She sat up straight, her eyes wide open with shock. "Yoruba? Did you just say Yoruba?" she asked, her voice trembling with anger. "Yes, mother. Adebimpe is from the Yoruba tribe." But Madam Okorocha slammed her hand on the table, cutting him off. "No, my son, you can never marry a Yoruba lady," she shouted. "It is against our tradition, Obi. You know that you cannot break our custom just because you think you are in love." Chief Okorocha, who had been silent for a while, stood up at this point and tried to calm his wife down. "Let us hear him out, Nne," he said gently. Obi explained himself. "Why do you think this is a good idea?" Obi took a deep breath. "Father, I love Adebimpe. She is kind, respectful, and we share a deep connection. I believe that love should not be limited by where someone comes from. I know our traditions are important, but I also believe that love can break any barrier." Madam Okorocha shook her head. "Love? Do you think love is enough to erase hundreds of years of tradition? You must marry an able woman. Our ancestors will never forgive us if we allow this thing to happen. From that day on, the house of Okorochas became a battleground. Madam Okorocha was determined to prevent the marriage, and she made it her mission to ensure that Obi would not marry Adebimpe. She began plotting ways to separate them, using every trick in the book to convince her son that marrying a Yoruba woman would bring disaster upon their family. She called upon the elders of the village to talk to Obi, reminding him of their stories of men who had married outsiders and they faced terrible consequences. Remember Nnamdi, the farmer who married a woman from the north? His corpse failed for years. The elders warned. And what about Chike, who married an Efik woman? His family was cursed with sickness. Obi listened respectfully, but he refused to change his mind. He believed that those stories were just myths, created to keep people trapped in old tradition. He remained steadfast in his love for Adebimpe. Meanwhile, Madam Okorocha took more drastic steps. She started visiting traditional healers and priests, seeking ways to cast a spell on Obi to make him forget about Adebimpe. She offered sacrifices to the gods, begging them to protect her family's honor and keep the outsider away from her son. One day, she even confronted Adebimpe herself. Madam Okorocha visited Lagos where Adebimpe lived and stormed into her home without warning. "You!" she shouted. As soon as Adebimpe opened the door. "You think you can take my son away from his people? You will never be part of our family. Go back to your people and leave Obi alone." Adebimpe, who had always respected Obi's mother, was heartbroken by her harsh words. She tried to reason with her. "Ma, I love Obi with all my heart. I don't want to come between him and his family. I only want to make him happy." But Madam Okorocha was not moved. "Love? Your love means nothing if it destroys our tradition. You will never be accepted." Despite his mother's efforts, Obi remained committed to Adebimpe. He knew that love could be overcome. He knew it would not be easy, but he believed that love could overcome any obstacle, even the curse of tradition. One evening, Obi made a bold decision. He gathered his family and the village elders and announced, "I am marrying Adebimpe with or without your blessings." Madam Okorocha gasped in shock. "How dare you defy me, Obi? You are choosing a stranger over your own mother and the custom of your people." But Obi stood firm. "Mother, I love you and I respect our tradition, but times are changing and so are things. We can't hold on to the past forever. Adebimpe and I are building a future together, one based on love and understanding, not fear and old rules." The elder whispers amongst themselves, unsure of what to say. Chief Okorocha, however, stood up and placed his hand on his son's shoulder. "Nne," he said to his wife, "perhaps Obi is right. Love should bring people together, not tear them apart. Maybe it's time we let go of this old tradition and allow our son to follow his heart." Madam Okorocha was furious. She refused to give in and stormed out of the house, vowing never to accept Adebimpe as her daughter-in-law. Weeks passed, and Obi and Adebimpe continued their plans for the wedding, but Madam Okorocha refused to accept the marriage, weighed heavily on them both. Obi missed his mother's warmth, and Adebimpe feared she would never be fully accepted into the family. On the day of the wedding, tensions were high. The ceremony was beautiful, filled with music, dancing, and joy, but Madam Okorocha refused to attend. She stayed in her room, weeping over what she believed was the loss of her son to an outsider. After the wedding, something unexpected happened. Madam Okorocha fell seriously ill. The village healer could not find a reason for her illness, and soon rumors spread that The ancestors were punishing the family for breaking tradition. But Adebimpe, despite the harsh treatment she had received, rushed to her mother-in-law's side. She spent days caring for her, bringing her food and staying by her side. Slowly, Madam Okrocha began to recover, and she saw with her own eyes how much Adebimpe truly cared for her and her family. One evening, as she lay in her bed, Madam Okrocha called Adebimpe over. Her voice was weak, but her words were sincere. Adebimpe, I see now that you are not here to destroy my family. You are a good heart. I was wrong to judge you by your tribe. I have learned that love is more important than tradition. Adebimpe smiled, tears in her eyes. Thank you, ma. All I have ever wanted was to be part of this family. Madam Okrocha nodded and reached for Adebimpe's hand. You are a part of this family, my daughter. The curse of tradition has been lifted. From that day on, the Okrocha family embraced Adebimpe with open arms. The village slowly began to accept the marriage, realizing that love was a force stronger than any tradition. Obi and Adebimpe lived happily, and Madam Okrocha, once a staunch defender of the old laws, became a symbol of change in the community.